He was not born into greatness. He was born into cold, hunger, and fear. No crown waited for him. No empire carried his name. Yet centuries later, the world would remember him as the man who conquered more land than anyone in human history. This is not a story about war. This is a story about will. About how a forgotten child learned to dominate the world. This is the story of Genghis Khan. Part 1: A world that showed no mercy. The Mongolian steppe was not kind. It was endless, unforgiving, and brutal. Here, survival was everything. Weakness meant death. Temujin was born into a small tribe. Far from power, far from safety. When he was still a child, his father was poisoned by enemies. In an instant, everything collapsed. The tribe abandoned Temujin's family. No protection. No allies. No mercy. They were left alone to face starvation and the cold. Temujin learned his first lesson early: the world does not care who you are. It only respects who you become. Part 2: Hunger, Fear, and a Broken Childhood. Hunger changes people. Temujin hunted rats to survive. He watched his family fight over scraps of food. Trust disappeared. Compassion faded. One moment would define him forever. During a struggle for survival, Temujin killed his own brother. Not out of hatred, but out of necessity. In that moment, the boy learned something terrifying. Leadership is not about kindness. It is about control. The child did not cry. He hardened. And the world had begun shaping a conqueror. Part 3: Chains and Silence. As a young man, Temujin was betrayed. Captured by a rival tribe. He was placed in a wooden collar. Displayed like an animal. A warning to others. Most men would break here. Temujin did not. He waited. He observed. He learned. And one night, he escaped. Not through rage, but through patience and intelligence. From that moment on, Temujin understood a critical truth. Power does not come from strength alone. It comes from strategy. Part 4: The Birth of a New Rule. Temujin returned to a world divided by endless tribal wars. Instead of following tradition, he did something revolutionary. He ignored bloodlines. He promoted loyalty, skill, and discipline. If you were capable, you rose. If you were not, you were left behind. Slowly, enemies became allies. Tribes became one force. In 1206, Temujin took a new name: Genghis Khan. It meant ruler of all. This was not a title. It was a declaration. Part 5: Fear as a Language. Genghis Khan did not rely on chaos. He relied on fear. Cities were given a choice: surrender and live, resist and disappear. Word traveled faster than his armies. Entire cities opened their gates. Before the Mongols even arrived, fear became his greatest weapon. But behind the terror was discipline, intelligence, and speed. This was not madness. This was calculated domination. Part 6: The Cost of Conquest. At his peak, Genghis Khan ruled the largest land empire the world had ever seen. From Asia to Europe, his shadow stretched across continents. But every conquest leaves scars. Millions were dead, cultures erased, history rewritten. And the man himself? When Genghis Khan died, his body was buried in secret. No tomb, no monument, only a legend. Outro: the question that remains. Genghis Khan forces us to ask the difficult question: are conquerors born? Or are they created by suffering? He started with nothing. No power, no protection. And yet, he reshaped the world. This was not just a story of history. This was a story of will. And this is only the beginning. But the greatest conquest of Genghis Khan was not land. It was himself. He conquered hunger. He conquered fear. He conquered betrayal. Long before armies followed him, he learned how to survive a world that wanted him erased. Every empire he built on the outside was first built on the inside. The discipline, the patience, the ability to endure pain without breaking. This is where most men fail, and where legends are formed. Genghis Khan is not remembered because he was merciless. He is remembered because he refused to remain powerless. History does not remember comfort. It remembers those who endure, those who adapt, those who rise when the world expects them to disappear. His story is not about violence. It is about transformation. From nothing to everything. Are conquerors born? Or are they created by suffering? He started with nothing. No power. No protection. And yet, he reshaped the world. This was not just a story of history. This was a story of will. And this is only the beginning.